Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another show with Coffee with Lady Leeanna, who's not quite awake or in her right mind yet, and Sir Austin. You can't expect me to actually be in my right mind right now, and I don't actually choose to be, especially when I've got the bad head. I'm just not here. Let's see. Waiting to see who all is going to pop in the room and who is not. I've told everybody time and again it's at 9:30. And I'm not sure that anybody's adapted to that because...
Good morning, Mystic.
Because I'm generally having to alert people to the fact that we'll be opening. Let's see. So, usually I have to put out the red flag. Hey, everybody, we're Coffee with Lady Leeanna in 10 minutes or something, you know.
Hey, Angie. Hey, Ronan.
Hey, guys, how are you doing? Merry meet. It's good to see you.
It's so weird. It's so weird seeing Mystic Witch up there because, I mean, on gaming, I always go by Mystic Warrior and you go by Mystic Shadow. So whenever I just go up there and I see... whenever I see Mystic Witch, I'm like, you know, it feels like I'm whenever I say, hey, Mystic, is like
Planar games.
It's like I'm talking in third person. Hey, Mystic. It's like,
yeah, because we're also used to when we create our games, you know, and we throw up our code names in gaming play, you know, Mystic Shadow and Mystic Warrior. We're used to other people coming around and creating their names around that, like Mystic Goat. Do you remember? Do you remember Mystic Goat in the game Rust? That was pretty funny. But hey Patricia, how are you doing? Merry meet. Nicole, good to see you. Omira and Ronan and Angie and Mystic Witch. All the good old people of the room. Freaky is here today. How was your pagan festival? I think it was a pagan festival, wasn't it? You said you had a festival yesterday.
It was a Scottish festival. I don't know if it was a pagan
I
festival.
don't know if it was a pagan festival or what, but...
Yeah,
Mystic Bing Bong Boop. My friends. Well, you know what? At least people know to respect you. That's all I've got to say about that. You know? A person that cries respect, whether they cry or not. But yeah, we go on the gaming and we like to play our games and I'm always Mystic Shadow. Until lately, that might have changed with the Ask a Witch page on Twitch. But I've always been Mystic Shadow and Helm Mystic Warrior. So if you're ever gaming and you see those names, then you might have to ask if it's us. Of course, if there's a lot of numbers behind it, it could be any number of different people. Hey Sarah, how are you doing? Always good to see you. Scottish Festival. It rained all day. Oh, great Scottish weather. So used to it. Anyway, so speaking of gaming, I went on Twitch yesterday and I opened myself up for it. Right? Talon, who I don't see on here today, is a zookeeper. Or actually a person that helps the zoo animals and takes care of them medically. You know, but I don't see Talon on here at all. But Twitch, I mean, my main point is a zoo, and probably a far worse zoo than what Talon Winged. What's the rest of his name?
I don't know the rest of his name.
I do usually know it.
I know his real name, but I don't know the rest of his screen name.
But his screen name, and he's in here about every day. Usually he comes in later though, but it's Talon Winged.
Isn't it like Talon Wing Dancer or something?
Yeah, Talon Wing Dancer. That's absolutely it. I'm sorry, Talon, whenever you watch this, and I know you will even after the show, if not showing up during. Let's see. As it Ask a Witch on Twitch, it's just going to Twitch, the gamer platform. It's just Ask a Witch. No, it's not the OO.
Oh, no.
You need to correct yourself. It's not the OO behind it. That is what you would look for on YouTube. Actually, and you could find that video. And that's what I was going to say. If you go to Twitch, then you would just go and you would look up Ask a Witch. And you would follow me there. Okay? And if you go to YouTube, then you would go to Ask a Witch OO. And that's how you would find me on YouTube. And actually, I've run the video up there where I threw myself off in the lion's den last night. That was quite interesting. And was there for 1 hour and 45 minutes, I think it was. And poor Talon Wing Dancer, with all the work that he does in the zoo, he thinks that he's working in a zoo. Oh my God, some of these kids, I just wanted to grab them and strangle them. And I'm like, okay, eclectic spiritualist, good guru. Find the good guru in you. You know? And really and truthfully, I didn't know whether I myself could handle it because I knew what I was in for. We're talking about a bunch of gamer thugs here, right? Gamer thugs. A bunch of 16 or even 13 to 22-year-old kids. Good morning, Crone Mary. It's good to see you. I love you, girl. Or Crone Alone, I'm sorry. I love you to death. And welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. I was thinking of another one of my subscribers when I said Crone Mary, and she's on YouTube, but I love both of them to death. They're really good people. Crone Alone, a really good person. How's your head doing? I mean, I knew you had an incident not long ago. Anyway, yes, I threw myself off into the lion's den, and I opened my channel out there on Twitch. And of course, you have the standards. Show me your tits. Do this. Do that. I mean, you would not believe. You have to watch the video. It's on Ask a Witch OO on YouTube. Or you could go to Twitch and you could watch the archive there.
Yeah, Twitch has actually got the chat logs and everything. So
yeah, Twitch has actually got the chat logs if you want to go and watch it there. And YouTube, you're just going to hear me addressing them, and you're going to hear one side of the conversation. So go to Twitch and watch the archives there, and it'll show you the chat logs that go with that, what they're actually saying. Anyway, you know, I hung in there, and before you knew it, I had pulled them all into my conversation. There wasn't one spiritual type out of the bunch, right? And before it was over with, I had each one of them begging me to do a reading on their screen name. Because that's what I began doing, and I got their attention just like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I love playing those games. And you know what? A lot of it is probably that they just can't stand the competition. But I didn't actually play a game. You know, you can go in there now and you can open a group in IRL and start teaching, you know, talking to whoever pops in the room. But yeah, you got to watch that video over on Twitch because, you know, and it's a real eye-opener, it really is, okay? But I tell them off, I put them in their place, I tame the beast, okay? And I win them over because before it's over with, out of the 20, and you know that they're going to recycle, kind of like what they do in the chat room here. You know, they're in and out, they're in and out. But in the end, there were several that stayed. And before you know it, I've got 9 subscribers on Twitch. For my first setting, you know, ever on Twitch. What are you doing, honey? Giving information.
Replying to Freaky Unicorn.
Anyway, what was it he asked?
What is your favorite? What are your favorite games?
Oh yeah, we like to play our Diablo 3, and we like to play our RuneScape. Right now, personally, I'm working on RuneScape, and me and him together are working on Diablo. Those are two of our favorite games. And if you look at the two kinds of games, or the two actual games, you'll see that we really like, or what we actually really like in the games. But yeah, so that was an experience and a half, and I'll do it again. You know, because I've always been one to step up to a challenge. And, you know, what ends up happening in the transition of this room, you know, I end up showing what I'm made of before it's over with. Oh, I do gaming. Oh, yeah, and we talked about it here. But just briefly, because I didn't want it to overshadow that which we do. I love gaming. I'm kind of new on PC gaming. I generally cut for PlayStation 3 games in the old days, and PS2 whenever that was going on, and PS1. You know, and so yes, a lot of the old console games. Now we have Xboxes, both of us, him and me, and then we play on PC. And so yeah, and I'm just really breaking into PC gaming, and I'm liking it. It's just taking a little bit of learning and becoming more, what is the word? Coordinated, you know, for doing that. And it's pretty kosher. I really do it. Yes, I am thug. I like to play my games and chill out a little bit, you know. And that's one reason why I'm actually able to go into a zoo of kids and say, "All right, bitches, roll your head and roll your sleeves up, because Lady L is here." Anyway, it was quite funny. You know, there's some eye-opening conversations there, so be ready to hear and see, you know, anything, you know. But I put them in their place, and there was one on Mojo, you know, that I made him check himself real quick, and a few others.
Yeah, I like Elder Scrolls Online. It's pretty cool. Me and Danny used to play it a lot. It's just
Elder Scrolls?
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pong is my speed. Chronolone says, isn't that like 1990s early?
No, I think Pong would be like more like 1970s, 80s.
No, 80s.
It would definitely be 80s.
Pong would be 80s. Because, you know, Atari didn't come out till the late 70s, like 78, 79.
Yes, Nicole!
Skyrim is good, yes. And by the way, I wanted to say thank you for our sponsors. We have some very, very good sponsors lately for the show on Patreon. And I wanted to say thank you to Nicole, who is our largest sponsor so far at all for our YouTube channels and any other thing. So Nicole, your very own Nicole here in the room, is our largest sponsor for the show at this point in time. And also, I wanted to say thank you to Brenda and Kosher, who is a big sponsor of ours and who has been for 3 or 4 months. You know, love you too, Nicole. It's always good talking to you. And by the way, I found out that there is a way that I can proclaim you a moderator of the room permanently, and it would actually highlight you and all of that. I'm still working on how to use it, but it is there. But anyway, yeah, Brenda and Kosher. And Angela, Angie, let's see, there's a few, and I need to relook those over so I can give proper homage to the right people. Jenkins, Angela Jenkins is one of our big sponsors. And so I really love these guys. They're really helpful. They're sponsoring us on Patreon, and it's helping the channel go smoother because we're able to support the equipment, the memory cards, the camera stuff that we need and all of that.
The computer guy.
The computer and the computer guy, because they're too expensive and need to get a grip of themselves. Garden, play garden war. In my garden, it's about fighting against the pest from eating my plants. And I understand that wholeheartedly because I am a person of the garden. I actually have 26 hazelnut trees. I have 2 cherry blossom trees. I have 4 blueberry plants. And I have 9 various fruit trees across the back. A rose bush, a jasmine climbing up the entire side of my building. And I actually took pictures of some of these recently. And I would like to be able to run them up somehow or another. Or maybe make a slideshow and a video on the YouTube channel here. You know, but a lot of them are just babies and are still coming up. You can definitely tell they're there, though. Cindy Lou, good morning. How are you doing? Let's see. Don't feel bad, Mystic Witch. I'm right there with you. Yes, the bugs eating plants, it's always a big battle. And most of us don't like to go with warfare that actually puts poisons on the plants or anything like that. Finally got to make it to the show, didn't you? It's really good to see you. And here is one of my good friends, Cindy Lou. And now let me make sure this Cindy Lou, are you the Cindy I'm thinking of who brought the box of goodies that I showed in the last show? I'm trying to make sure. I'm pretty sure that's what you told me your name. Okay. Alright, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, this is my friend Cindy who brought the boxed goods that I did the unboxing of on the very last show, actually, and showed you all the goodies that she brought for me as a gift. She is the one responsible for that entire show and for all the stones and crystals, all the lovely goods that I have in my trunk today, all the replenished items and all that. A really sweet lady. And it's good to see you finally being able to come on here and talk to us. I love that. Haven't got to talk to you on here very much. I think the last times that you tried to come on here, you had a little trouble with your system or with the internet or the chats, trying to make everything work. And let me tell you, I understand. Trying to pull all of this together on a daily basis and make sure that this room is erected and working, you know, is a job. And I was going to run all of this by you guys. You know, I'm thinking, you know, that the morning times might be a little too early for a lot of people. And a lot of people might be having to try to work and trying to pull their jobs together on shit and figure things out, you know, for themselves, like at 9:30. And I was thinking about making this an evening show. And it would be good to get the input of all the people here in the room, because it's not just about me, and I've always made that abundantly clear. There are a lot of you guys that work and can't make half the shows. I noticed that for one, Yamanu's not here, Talon's not here today, and there are several other, and Ronan is saying he's at work, I think. Is that correct? You're at work right now? Let's see. I just stream at work, and Nicole's at work. And so this might be a little offsetting for a lot of you guys. And what I'm debating is making this a morning, not such a morning show. I'm having trouble getting this together every morning at 9:30 myself, you know. And so I was thinking like maybe around 8 o'clock in the evening or something, you know, and doing it Monday through Friday and giving myself Saturday and Sunday off. And I would like to know who all is in favor of that, who all agrees that that would be a good time or not, because this isn't just about me, and it's trying to pull it together for everyone. And I want you to be very, very clear.
You're talking about doing the, still doing the morning shows to some degree, but
no,
not doing the morning shows at all?
Everybody is having, being at work when this is going on and trying to do it right and all of that. And
the reason I was asking is because I know Glenn and Shannon are they're from the UK, so they might.
I think Angie might be from far away too. We are US CST time. You know, United States Central Standard Times. It's 9:30 or 9:50 right here, right now. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate it. In the AM. And I have a lot of people from far, far away. Okay, so another idea that was, we were debating on doing, say, an evening show on, say, Wednesdays and a morning show on Sundays, per se. Or working it that way and doing a mixture of morning and evening shows. And that way people could tend to be here more. I know that we have a very loyal bunch of people here, I mean, that really love the show. And if everybody wants us to keep it in the mornings, then we will. Or at least the biggest majority. It would make it a lot easier for them. But it's hard. There's no way I would be able to do 2 shows. I can't do a morning show and an evening show every day. There's just no way on earth I could do that. And it's, you know, it's kind of complicated, you know, as it is. But people really want to watch, they will, in whatever way, form, or fashion. And it does make an archive, you know, of the show if people aren't actually able to be there. But the thing is people do love to be there. They want to be able to watch and participate in the show. But, yeah, it tends to be hard for people. And I'm trying to calculate and formulate a balanced mix to where people can be there. And one of the ideas is that I do 2 shows a week, making it a little easier for myself, and doing a weekday show in the evening and doing a weekend show in the morning. And I mean, it would depend. Still, we have Shannon, we have Glenn, we have, I think, Angie. We have a lot of people. We have people that are from Australia. You know, all kinds of people from all different places that are watching. Yeah, and it would make it hard for them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mitch is in the UK also.
Mitch, where are you at? I know you were in here a minute ago. What place in the world? I mean, thereabouts. You don't have to give devout information or anything.
Yeah, time zone.
I'd be wiped out doing what you do, a show every day. Yeah, and that's UK. And she's in the UK. So, you know, really, it's looking like a majority of all the people that we have in the room right now is from the UK. But I find that most of the people on YouTube that are watching the shows are from the United States. I have a bigger supporting there. And, you know, so it's everywhere, and people are from all different places, and it makes it hard. I think that the best idea that I could come up with, I must choose. It's either you or you. No, I'm not a drama queen. What I will do is split it down the middle and say, okay, I'm going to do part of my shows at this point. I'm going to do part of my shows at this time, and this way I can be universal. Because I've always strived to be universal. No, but really, I mean, I feel that, you know, there's so many people within this family already that that I would not want to lose any one of them. And so one of the ways that I could do things is do a morning show on some days and do an evening show on other days. But lessen my amount of days, because I'm telling you guys, it is killing me to some degree. I have not been able to study my Japanese language since I began doing these shows. And let's see, as far as doing any videos where it's just been me and the camera, I haven't done any of those whatsoever. And so it's left out being able to do any kind of ritual shows for the camera at all, and people love those. Also, they love the high quality of the videos that I make where it's me and the show.
There are a few shows.
What if you did a few shows nighttime and a few shows day? And I realize that some of you are getting what I'm saying after the fact, and some of you are getting it or making suggestions just before. You know, it's the lag in YouTube's live stream thing. So, yeah, it's a hit and miss, you know, whenever you throw out there an idea as to whether it's going to be said right after you've typed it or not, you know. But, yeah, that's the best idea I can come up with. Say, take a Monday and Wednesday evening show, starting out maybe, and then take a morning show on, say, Sundays and another day, you know. And I'll get an algorithm together to where it benefits so many different people.
Yeah, we can probably figure it out, and we can post it on the. We could post it as a thumbnail on the live stream. How does that sound?
Something like that.
Or
you're the tech person.
Or in the description or something.
Let's see. Yeah, that would be an idea. Or just advertise it on the next show. For me, feedings on the farm and feeding the crew is priority, of course. I love morning since it's my time. But like they said, it's your show. If we can tune in, we will. And if not, watch it recorded. And you know, that's the biggest point. But at the same time, if I do mix it up, then it would allow for all of you guys to be able to catch shows throughout the entire term of the week. You know, some of it by live stream, some of it by video. You know, and that's the only thing I can think to do. Because there's a lot of guys that come into this room that are having a very hard time being a part of it or staying a part of it. And so I've got to realize that that's just not gonna happen all the time anyway. Although I really love it to be the case. Let's see. Ronan says, good idea about the part in the day, part in the evening. And, you know, I mean, the live stream archives are gonna always be there. And Mitch asked how we're gonna celebrate Beltane. Well, I've been a person that just really kind of goes into my head when I'm celebrating Beltane. I'll sometimes throw up a little altar. Sometimes I will just, you know, go out of nature and give homage to a certain degree to the higher power. I like to go out where the festivals are and be a part of those. You know, so that's always a good thing. And what did we do last year at Beltane? Do you remember at all?
Last year I think I had to work.
He had to work. I don't have a car. So, stuck here at home, what I probably did is throw up an altar and pay homage to the gods and goddesses of fertility, because that's what Beltane is celebrating. Honey, will you give me my AZOs, please?
Yeah.
That's what Beltane is about. It's celebrating fertility. You know, the plantings. Time to get everything in the ground now so that you could celebrate that at Beltane. And be able to do, you know, a tribute to the gods and goddesses of fertility. And so probably what I'll do is cast up a mini altar and then take it that way on a personal basis. You know, as far as doing a video, I probably won't because it's coming up too soon. And a lot of the times on my personal holidays, I like to keep that for myself at times. Let's see. And you know, that's another thing, and Cindy Lou makes that point quite well, is that I do need times for myself. Like, you know, if I do videos and all of that on Beltane, then I probably won't uh, be able to feel good about my own religion. And I've been guilty of that for a lot of time in the past, is giving away my spirituality by leading and teaching so many other people within my physical everyday life, not on here by the way. Um, you know, giving away my spirituality instead of having any of it for myself. And so on my holidays, a lot of times I'll draw into my own corner. I'll do a mini altar, or I may even throw together an elaborate altar. But I always like to give a basket of fruit to the higher power, and or to the universe around us. I'll put together in ritual a fruit and vegetable basket, and then I'll take it and I'll set it up on the earth and share it with the earth. You know, and in the video or in the ceremony while I'm doing it, I will actually take libation as part of that ceremony before I give the rest of that basket to the earth. In this, it'll be pumpkins, gourds, apples, bananas. I like a lot of color in my baskets. And so, let's see, what's going on? Let's see. Let's see. Fairy rings are mushrooms that grow in a circle of 3 mushrooms in a triangle, things of that nature, and that's true. Fairy rings are consisting of toadstools and mushrooms. And generally, there is a lot of lure to do with that and your elvish folks, your fae, coming and celebrating around in your property and bringing that up. Bananas, fertility of thought and action. Let's see. And so, yes, baskets of fruits. I'll take libation, such as a banana or something like that, while I'm doing my ritual, leaving part of it for the higher power and giving that to the libation dish itself. And then after whatever ritual I'm doing, I'll take all of the fruits that I put together in this basket, as well as the libation dish, and I'll give all of that to the earth in whatever way, form, or fashion. But you have to kind of develop a way of doing things for yourself. And if you want any ideas, then I did a video on a Samhain 2 years ago, and I did a video revolving around that, and it's quite a good video actually, and it's very ceremonial and ritualistic. I don't know how many of you have actually seen it, but I'm actually giving libation. I'm actually celebrating Samhain with a fruit basket constructed for the higher power that I gave after the ritual. And that's how I generally like to take a lot of my larger ceremonies celebrating a holiday. Welcome, Yomanu. It is good to see you. And welcome to the show today. Today we've been just kind of talking about trying to get an idea together of what days the shows are going to be and if they're going to be in the mornings or evenings or doing a mixture of both. And I think that we've all kind of agreed that it would be good to do 2 shows in, say, the morning and 2 shows in the evening throughout the week. You know, and taking it that way. And that way it'll also give me, say, 3 days to do things that I need to do or whatever. And so this is an idea, and whatever I decide, I will let you guys know in the long run. Aside of that, Yomanu, what we've been talking about is celebrating Beltane and how we do it, what is the best way to do so, and any ideas that you can give here would be very welcome. Beltane is coming up. What day is that, by the way? I haven't paid attention. I've been too busy, you know, doing a lot of other stuff social media wise, and now I'm kind of thrown on my own holidays. So let me know when is Beltane?
I think it's like tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? Because I'm thinking it is, and that's just scary because I let, you know, May 1st. May 1st. Thank you, Angie. I appreciate it.
Okay.
What is tomorrow? Because I know May 1st is coming up. I mean, I
no.
know it is.
That's right.
When is May 1st? Is May 1st tomorrow?
No, yesterday was the 29th, so today is the 30th.
So
it would
May
be the
1st
day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow. 2 days?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I haven't kept up with that. I let everything... Well, Nicole says tomorrow.
I guess some people start their
Today is the
celebrations
30th. Angie says it will be my first Beltane. Today is the 30th, Cindy Lou says. And Angie says tomorrow is the 1st. So yes, I let this wing sneak right up on me. It's a good thing that I wasn't planning on anything really big. And today is the 30th, honey. Anyway, it's a good thing I didn't plan on anything that involved a lot of other people, because I would have just been mind blown. You have only so much time in a week. That's true, Yamanu. And that's why I'm going to have to shrink my days to maybe 4. Or if it gets real bad, maybe even only 2. But doing 1 or 2 shows in the evening and doing 1 or 2 shows in the morning, because there are a lot of people right here in this very room that are from the UK.
That's right.
And there are people that are missing in the room that are from the UK and are either sleeping or working or whatever. And it's kind of hard to keep up with all of that. So, you know, doing half and half in the morning or the evening would be a great help to me, because it cuts out 3 days and frees it up for myself. And it likewise helps the people that are actually trying to catch the live stream here today and are at work, such as Romanide and Nicole. There are 2 good examples of people that are having to work and trying to catch the live stream at the same time, and it makes it hard for them. So dividing that up and taking off some of the heat from them, also making it easier for me, since I have trouble getting up at 9:30 sometimes, or catching sleep at night for that matter, you know, and being able to balance a little bit more time so I can make the professionalistic videos that a lot of people are accustomed to me making, where I can actually cast up a circle periodically or construct an altar. And I haven't been able to do any of that since we began the shows, which has been over 2 weeks, correct?
Yeah.
Oh God, about 3 or 4 weeks actually.
Yeah.
And then I even let Beltane sneak right up on me because I've got so many irons in the fire. Anyway, I love the family here on the screen, and I love, you know, being able to meet and get together with all of you. I mean, that's just wonderful, and so I'm trying to balance that out in the best possible way. We are expecting our first grandbaby any day. It would be good if it were a Beltane baby. And that's what she says too. A question, will it, won't it? That's a good question. And if so, you're going to have to come up with a really, or encourage them to come up with a really constructive name, you know, after, say, one of the deities or whatever, you know. Let's see. Beltane Festival. What will you be doing on Beltane Festival? Me, I'm probably going to put together a minor altar. I don't have a car, so I can't meet up with a bunch of pagan friends of mine that I know about there in Houston and rarely ever get together with, although it would be nice. Actually, I was invited on Beltane to go and talk in front of a bunch of people and to do a stage scheduling, you know, as a teacher, you know, at one of their festivals. Wasn't it a friend of mine, Jules, that wanted me to get together and actually teach at a Beltane festival?
Yeah.
And to share my knowledge with them, because they know that I have a big following here on YouTube, and they would like me to help carry that knowledge and wisdom out to their festival and do a scheduling on the calendar for Beltane. But I'm not going to be able to make that. Not having a car, him having to work, all of that makes it really difficult. Uh, but it would have been nice to be able to do that. And they're probably going to do the Maypole festival or ongoings there at the same time, and that would have been really nice to participate in. But I love it that I'm catching, and actually, and thank you, Cindy, that's really sweet. I'm actually catching the eye of several other people. I have had so many different invitations for going and speaking at larger events, some of them Texas-wide and very large, and still I'm very odd about doing that. Now, it's one thing talking to you guys and drawing a kindreds with you guys on the screen, but, talking and standing on a stage in front of a lot of people, I'm not sure if I'm ready to do that or not. And anybody that knows me knows that I like to do things that I feel that help me to feel relaxed, because that's the type of person I am. Laid back, do my own thing, go with the flow, and relax, And I don't know, I think that when you get into a lot of festival stuff, speaking on stage, being the center of attention while you're doing something for all of these people face to face, now, it can be a little chaotic, And so, really and truthfully, I didn't know whether I was ready for doing the festivals that they were inviting me to do. And they actually gave me a welcome calendar for the entire year and said, I want you to come and actually speak for these people, at any point throughout this year, wherever you can possibly join. And I may do that, but, the invitation came right before Ostara and didn't give me but a few days to perhaps prepare or expect it, and they wanted me to do it on Beltane if I couldn't do it on Ostara, and so I wasn't really prepared there and didn't really feel up to it yet. I'm still trying to recuperate in a lot of ways from my ongoings with the radiation and chemotherapy, trying to get my life to moving again, and I have to do that for me before I will actually go out and be full on face to face with large groups of people. But let's talk about what you'll be doing on Beltane Festival. Any of you going to participate in a large Beltane gathering of any sort? That's interesting. That's something that we should really talk about. And what happens there on Beltane festivals if you go to a large one? Cindy Lou said, spent 4 hours here the other day. Talking about her visit with me, and I enjoyed that. That was very good, very fruitful and beneficial, and I love Cindy Lou to death. She is got a heart of gold. Great healer, by the way. She gave me a hug before she left, and my shoulder was hurting really bad all the way through, that morning, and doing the show here, as well as, reading for other people. And, she gave me a hug, and that kind of melted away for a while, and that was really good. She has a lot of really good healing qualities, and that's another show that we really need to do, is on healers. Not all of us have those gifts. As I've always pointed out, one person can only learn so much within this particular lifetime. And from there on out, it's all gravy, and we rely on each other to give and take, kind of like businesses do. One person can't get out there and farm and grow a shitload of stuff in their garden, or raise a hell of a lot of chickens, by the way, and then expect to go and work an 8 to 16 hour a day job too at the same time. That's why we rely on other forces, other people on the earth to connect with us. It's a give and take thing. And it's the same thing within witchcraft and Wicca. We can learn the tarot cards, but somebody else may learn the runes. We may learn how to heal, where another person may know how to scry or see and take that to the world. We may know how to um, teach within these fields, but there are a lot of other people that actually put that into focus and actually work it. You know, because my job as a teacher, whether it's the groups that I was leading here and the shows that I'm doing now, or the tarot card readings that I provide for other people on a physical basis, it would make it rather hard for me to, you know, put everything that I do know into focus. So basically what I do, and one of my greatest gifts, and by the way, we have to attribute all of that we are really good at as a gift, because it is. One of my greatest gifts is teaching, you know, where one of your greatest gifts may be in doing whatever it is, you know, or it may be a mixture of both, you know. And then one of my greatest teachings is in tarot card reading, scrying, and psychism. That is one of my other big fields. And those are my two big fields, and they take up a lot of my time, teaching people and using the psyche to help people in their daily life on a professional level. Those are my two jobs. And you know, my teaching isn't a job. I'm not getting paid for it. I am doing it as a gift of love for those people that are around us, for YouTube, for the room here, and for people that come through one after the other and may have questions for me about things within paganism. Yamanu is also a great teacher. I can tell you that right now. And no, he hasn't sat down and actually communicated with me for a long period of time. But in the amounts, short spurts of time that we've spent together talking, generally in text, we've never heard each other's voice. But I can tell you that he's a great teacher. And he would do well to take that to the world himself if he could, or if he wants to, you know. But there's a lot of things that he's involved with, I'm sure. He says, tonight my group plans to meet over Google or Facebook. We'll be celebrating a comedic holiday that happens to coincide with Beltane, and there are a lot of coincidental holidays with each of our holidays, by the way. Happens to coincide with Beltane for the U.S. And so, Yamanu, are you in another country? That's one thing that I've forgotten to ask.
No, Beltane for us.
Oh, for us, not the U.S. I'm sorry. When I'm reading this, there's so much to look at that I can't focus a lot of the times on one person's print. Called the Beautiful Fest of the Valley. Wow. That sounds really nice. We do it as a broadcast. I'm going to have to check that out. And tomorrow or the next day we do the live stream, which I'm pretty sure it'll be tomorrow since we haven't put together any alternative schedule yet. You should share that link to that video if you are going to video it. And that way the people here in the room can go and see you and your group or whatever it is that you do in action. I think that that's always a blessing to see other people at work. And a lot of people always, by the way, ask me to show them another work of mine here on the live stream or whatever. But, you know, you have to think, what am I going to do? I'm in this one place, and I move too much to the left or I move too much to the right, then you lose me out of the camera. What are you going to see? You know, the best thing that I could do and show you within my spiritual works on a live stream would be putting together an amulet or a talisman right here in front of you, and I'll do that, or guide you in a meditation, or take tea ceremony with the higher power and with you guys in the room, and we can do that. And that's one thing that maybe we ought to schedule, you know, because people aren't going to be ready if they're not ready. So it's one of those things we would have to schedule and say, okay, if you're going to follow what I'm doing here, you know, on the channel, you need to have this, this, and that, and you need to have it all together before 9:30 or whatever time we set up for that day. And you have to have it all spread out before you and ready to follow along with whatever I do. And in that way, we're all putting our heads together. We're stirring up a good and vast energy and doing a ritual with the gods, goddesses, and celebrating them. And you know, that could be a good thing that we do for Beltane. Is what if tomorrow morning we do a Beltane take tea ceremony with the gods and goddesses? You know, I mean, that would be an idea of something to do for Beltane that we could all do together before we go all of our different ways and actually start embarking on other paths with other people, you know, that are around in our division or our area or whatnot. You know, so, I mean, there's an idea. But putting spellworks together, taking tea ceremony with the gods and goddesses, that would be an idea. That would be something that we could do. I like that idea, Lady L. Who else is on board with that? And everybody doesn't have to be on board. I mean, you can show or you don't have to show or whatever. But everybody has been trying to get me to do a ceremony here and draw everybody else together into the same ceremony with them and put heads together to stir up all kinds of energy and so forth. But you know, the most that you could do is something like this. And it's kind of really more of a prayer ceremony and giving homage to the gods and the goddesses of the earth, of the air, and the forces around us. So what I suggest at this point is anybody that wants to participate in this would get a couple of fruits and vegetables. Like you might get a gourd or a squash, and you might get an Indian ear of corn or an apple or whatever, and it doesn't have to be elaborate. Okay? And kind of, you know, get you a couple of fruits and vegetables together. Have tea set up. Okay? And that's a cup for you and a cup for the gods and goddesses. Have a libation dish together. That's one bowl of any type that you would like it to be. It shouldn't contain any metals whatsoever, by the way. Alright? A bowl. And a regular ceramic bowl would be just fine. And what you could do is you can let's see, I'm trying to read and this and that, and so I'm just kind of getting lost a little bit. Okay, what we're talking about is doing a tea ceremony for the gods and goddesses tomorrow morning, Luna, for Beltane. The same time, the same place, but having a couple of fruits and vegetables together. Have a prayer in your own handwriting, written out before time. And I mean, have all of this together before we sit down together. Okay? Have all of this together. A cup of a little pot of tea in whatever way, form, or fashion you like to serve it. But for you, whoever's there beside you, and for the gods and goddesses. If there's more than one of you physical people sitting there, then you might want to have a cup for each one and a cup for the god and goddess. That's one cup for the god and goddess combined. Okay, and then you have a fruit and a vegetable handy that you can give out to the earth afterwards. Okay, in whatever way, form, or fashion that you prefer to do it. Let's see, you might want to have like a couple of pieces of toast or a piece of cake. Some form of bread is always advised. Crackers are good. Have those ready and on a little surface plate. And what you'll do is you won't serve the tea yet. You'll have the tray in front of you or around you and close by. Try putting a crystal in your teacup as a suggestion of Mystic Witch. And I didn't say welcome to the show, Mystic Witch, but I know that you've been here since the beginning, and it's always a pleasure seeing you. Try putting a crystal in your teacup. And what this is called is making a crystal tonic. And you can do that in water or tea or whatever. And as a matter of fact, Yamanu even brought that up, a show on crystal tonics or something recently, and that's something that we should talk about. And one of my other group members on YouTube mentioned it likewise. But yes, you could try putting a crystal, and make sure it's a big enough crystal to where it does not go in your mouth and you don't swallow it, because that could be a real bitch. I mean, you know, and the problem probably isn't as much in the swallowing it as it would be in the passing it. Especially if it's not a smooth and polished stone. So, yes, try dropping a crystal in your cup of tea. And that's a good suggestion. So have that together before we start at 9:30. A prayer written in your own handwriting to the gods and goddesses, giving thanks for all of that which they have provided in the past and for the good year ahead of crops, whether it's the money that's coming in on your job, or the growing of the fruits and vegetables in your garden, or the raising of your animals on your farm. You know, and you know, give thanks for all of that in the past and for that which is to come in the near future. And have that handwritten before we begin. Before 9:30, have your vegetables and fruits. Have your tea made, but not served, okay? And that's very, very important. Have a prayer written in your own handwriting, and have some cakes or crumpets. Something that you would have on the side, a breading type product. And not just enough for you or the other living people that are within your circle that you're doing with us here in the morning, but also a little bit for the gods and goddesses too, because for all that we take into ourselves, do we ever give back? And then we'll go into a little light ceremony here, you know, for Beltane morning at 9:30. So don't forget any of those ingredients. And anybody that's watching the live stream after this, feel free to do the same thing, whether you're doing it with the after show, you know, and at the time that you're watching it, or doing it with us while it's being live streamed. Selenite, quartz crystal, black onyx, obsidian, turquoise, tourmaline, or jade are good stones and crystals that you could use within the charging of your tea, dropping into your tea to help nourish yourself and to give yourself power for throughout your Beltane day, you know, a blessing of the god and goddess. And then perhaps you can take that little stone out and you can give it to the earth afterwards. You know, there's an idea for you. You know, but we'll talk about that after the ceremony. Make sure that it's a stone you can actually, you know, part with if you want to give it to the earth afterwards. And by the way, a bloodstone for health is also a good stone that you can use likewise. My associate and close friend has a very good channel here, Comedic Independent. She does a series of instructional vids and discussions on the particular path. Let's see, cup of tea. My search isn't finding the channel Mystic Witch, darn. But let's see, that's making a reference to something earlier. Let's see. So, find you a stone that you can feel synonymous with parting with. Cleanse it with soap and water, by the way, first. And then cleanse it with consecrated water. And you can make your own holy water. Alright? I'm excited too. I think that that'll be a really good show. By the way, have an incense handy. Have an incense handy. Not a sweet smell. Not a sweet smell at all. But have an earthy smell. And you can go to Walmart and you can get a lot of earthy or peppery type smells there. I suggest you don't make it too overly peppery either. Sandalwood would be perfect for this, by the way. And so add an incense in there too, and have an incense ready to burn for tomorrow's show, as well as have your tea made, have your crystal cleansed and purified by soap and then by holy water also. And then have yourself some kind of cakes. And you can go and get a box of Little Debbie's at the store if you want. Or you can homemade, and that's always advisable. If you have a full-out kitchen and you like to cook, make your cakes for the ceremony if you can. You can likewise, if you don't, use rice cakes, which have no sweetness or whatever. And you can use any kind of crackers or toast that you would make for yourself, butter-free, by the way, on that. And you're going to make enough not for just yourself, but anybody else that is there with you physically, and for your gods and goddesses afterwards. So what else can we add to this? A candle, a white candle. Or how about a green candle, since this is about growing things. And if you have it, anoint it with a let's say an earthy scented oil and an empowering oil at that. Patchouli would be great, you know. So have all of this set up and ready. You don't have to have your candle prepared, as we can do that in circle tomorrow while we're in front of the video. Not in circle, but sorry, force a habit. But while we're doing the video tomorrow, we can anoint our candle as part of that which we're doing. And we can sense the air around us as part of what we're doing. So if you have a sage smudge wand, then that is advisable to start with. And then an incense to light up when we actually begin the after preparation ceremony. And the preparation should be as mild as possible. You know, alright honey, take care of yourself. So get all your stuff together, you know, throughout tonight and in the morning before we start, so that you have it together. And then we can start, but make sure you have a, you know, a cleanser for the air of some sort that we can, you know, use together as we get started. They're all saying bye to you, honey. He's already got up and left, but he knows that you're saying bye, and he knows your best thoughts are with him. I'm looking forward for a healthy cake recipe now. Cup of Tea says, just got me a new sweets display item, and I don't want to put junky sweets on it. And that's good. I mean, you know, it's always better if it's something made with honey or something that is non-sweet altogether. And so she makes a very, very good point, by the way. And thank you very much for that. Find you a honey cakes recipe or something along those lines if you're going to make your own. I'm sure there must be some good healthy cakes, LOL, if there's such a thing in this day and age. You know, you have to wonder. Let's see, my favorite incense blend is patchouli, and I agree with that. Mine is too. I love the smell of it. Rosemary, sweetgrass, frankincense, myrrh, cedar, and white sage. And those are all beautiful scents. That's what I highly suggest myself for this ceremony, and Mystic Witch is very good at naming those. And thank you, because while I'm doing these shows, Mystic Witch, I can't sit here and think of everything, especially since I don't script anything. And, you know, so I appreciate you guys and all your ideas that you throw out there like that, and your list that you give, because you're not helping me alone in moderating the room and helping other people knowing what to do, you know, but you are compiling a list that's out there for the after video and the people that will be watching the show on a permanent video from now on. Yamanu says malachite is safe when polished or tumbled, but the raw stone flakes and the mineral is poisonous. So malachite probably not so safe for putting in your tea. The stone property treated is very healing, but the chemical composition of the dust is toxic to us. So really I don't advise using that when there are so many other viable choices. But, you know, for the show tomorrow, don't forget to have a crystal or stone that is big enough you will not pour it down your throat, okay, to help make your tea into a kind of a tonic as we get started, okay? But don't put that in your teacup right away. Don't pour your tea or serve it right away. That's for all of us to do. Thank you, Corona Alone. It's good to see you, and thank you for joining us. Try to join us in the morning and have everything together we've talked about if you can. Everybody's been wanting to get together and do a ceremony together online, and this could be the start of that. This would be about the extent of what I could do as far as a ceremony anyway, without getting out of the way in view of the camera, you know, and it would be for nothing, you know, and all chaotic, trying to put together anything bigger than this kind of thing in front of the camera. Frankincense is probably my personal favorite, says Jean Manu. Not me personally, though it's one of my favorites. My absolute favorite, I would have to say, is patchouli. It's just what I've always used. And I like your peppery blends because you know that it's cleansing. You know that it's purifying. Let's see. And Mystic Witch says, oh, you're making me all blushy. And that's talking about, you know, what I said about compiling the list, being so helpful and everything on the show. And that's what you guys do. You know, you sit here and you give good ideas and you compile a complete list of things that are extremely helpful for everybody to use. Cindy says, I make my oils mostly. And that's very good. Making or compiling your oils to be what you want them to be is quite good. And, you know, as per using incense, I have COPD and trouble breathing sometimes. And so for the asthmatics in the rooms, a lot of times the best thing you can do is just put a pile of really dry herbs on a plate. Let them even, you know, set overnight and dry out better, or put them in a brown paper bag because that will dry them out real good. And then put them back in a Ziploc bag. And then whenever you get ready to use them, don't put them on a charcoal disc, or don't put anything on it that might disturb your COPD or your asthma. Just touch it off with flames real good, and it'll stay lit enough for you to invoke your favorite symbol, you know, with it while you're in ritual, and then it'll go out right away. And so you're not taking that in chronically while you're at your altar. And this is exactly what I do. I don't light an incense and keep it going all throughout my ceremonies most times, although I will on very special times. However, instead I will touch off my herbs and I'll invoke my symbol. I'll let it do its cleansing around my table or altar, and then it goes out. And so I'm not breathing in and having to take my inhaler for the next 3 to 4 days because it's really irritated me. And so there is a very, very good idea for you. Let's see. Who would rose quartz be okay? Would rose quartz be okay, you think, for our tea? Of course. It's a very, very good thing for it. Any kind of quartz is really good for what we're doing. You can also use other various stones. And by the way, to bring love your way throughout the course of the day, which is what our holidays are based around. Love for each other, love for humans on the earth, love for the earth itself, and for the gods and goddesses. Your citrine would work very, very good for that. And so that's probably what I'm going to use as my part of tomorrow's ritual online, is the citrine stone that you gave me just the other day, Cindy. That would work perfectly. Let's see. And also, it was giving out of love. It was given to me from you out of love and respect. And so what better stone would that be? Would there be than that for myself although each of you may have very valid reasons for using a different one. Rose quartz is a drawer of love, by the way, and so that is a very, very good stone. So, Cindy, if you want to use rose quartz, it would do the same thing that the citrine would do. It's a drawer of love, and you would carry it throughout your day. You know, so hey, here's a lot of really, really good ideas. Now, if you want to take power in through your day and acquire power throughout your Beltane day, as you go among other people, use a black drawing stone or a hematite. Okay? And that way you will be signifying that you want things coming to you in abundance and with power and might. But watch out. Don't let yourself get knocked on the ass. You know? And citrine, as Cindy Lou points out, and she wrote me a good script on my Facebook after all was said and done in the video, detailing what all of these things that she gave me in the box was good for. And that was one of the things that she mentioned, as citrine placed with other things amplifies the other things that you are using. And it would be like a homing beacon or like your magnifier of your voice that cops use, or people that are in very scary businesses, like your fire trucks, your cops, and stuff of that nature. Let's see, any white, green, yellow, pink, and purple stones would be perfect for Beltane. Yeah, just go with the ideas of what Beltane is, what people pay homage to, the gods and goddesses that you're calling to. You can't almost go wrong at all with anything that you would choose, because you could justify it in one way, form, or fashion to be right for the occasion. However, you do have to make sure that it's a stone that is very synonymous with you, one you love to use, one that is synonymous with your god and goddess, if not yourself. It has to have some kind of meaning, and so just dropping any stone would not work, you know, for the most part. At least give homage to what you feel that it's good for. Pay attention to what it draws. Pay attention to what it extends out. And then you can put together a good ceremony for that. But yes, let's see. I'm fixing to be closing down any moment. Participate with other people, because Beltane is really about celebration. And, you know, make it the most powerful you can make it. Also, dancing around the maypole is an old tradition. Cakes and ale is an old tradition, although we'll be taking cakes and tea. Or crumpets and tea, crackers, whatever you can get a hold of, you know, that would not make you feel blah or whatever afterward. And make sure you prepare enough for your deities as well as yourself. You know, so, you know, get ready for it in the morning. Have everything together. Don't assemble, or actually don't serve anything. And don't put stones in cups yet. Don't anoint the candles yet. But just have it all standing by. That way we could also go into the formation of it all. You know? Let's see, everyone. Have a fantastic... It was great to see you, Nicole. I love you to death, girl, and I hope that you have the best day that you could possibly have today. And, you know, I'll see you in the morning likewise. Let's see. Everyone have a wonderful day. It was good to see you, Angie. You take care of yourself. And, yes, just make it be whatever is right for you. And just make sure you're ready to give part of that to the earth. Okay? And I'll be looking forward to that too. If you need to, you can refer back to this video and see what all you need to have. But don't have anything assembled. Don't have anything anointed yet. And make sure you have a cleanser to open it up with, like a sage smudge wand or a good incense, particularly for cleansing. Alright, everybody, you guys have a wonderful day. And I will be seeing you very soon, tomorrow morning. Take care of yourself, and bright blessings. Obviously, Austin has something he wants to say.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to show everybody the raccoon that we saw last night. It was kind of a treat, so I figured I'd share.
And don't forget your British accent for tomorrow.
British accent, what? Sorry, I know I was out, but...
Let's see, he has a picture he wants to show you. He got it taken right at our front door last night. And I've stated that I have a vast amount of wildlife right here, even being in the city. And this is one of our little fellows that lives on the property here. And this is the first time I've seen him this year. And he looks like a young one. I believe that he is a descendant of some of the others that I've had here on the property year after year. Are these actually showing on there yet?
Mm-hmm.
Have a great day, Mystic Witch. I really hope that you enjoyed, and I'll be looking forward to tomorrow, you know, as far as assembling our ritual and participating in it all in the same setting. We have them coming in. Yes, she has a lot of raccoons. And the wildlife, you know, I have armadillos here on the property. And I only have under an acre of property here, by the way. And we're right on the highway. But I have a bunch of regular small snakes, one large 4-foot snake. I have a family of armadillos. I have a family of skunks, at least a mother and child skunk on the property. I have one young buck rabbit who was a baby treading around with its mother before, and I don't know what has happened to its mother, but he's still on the property here. And we have several other critters that has taken to the property here, and they stay a part of us, and I just love that. You know, the animals have just accepted our property into being a part of them, no matter that we're like right in the middle of the city, and they all live right under my building. You can hear them at night and know that they're okay, because they'll be buckling down for the night underneath the building. You know, and so I always respect them. And as a matter of fact, last night what I decided to do is keep a small bag of dog food for this little fellow that's coming around now. And he was a baby coming up on my front porch with his mom and little brothers and sisters, you know, just last year. So I'm pretty sure he is one of those babies that I watched last year. So I'm going to keep a bag of dog food for these little critters that want to come up and be a part of us, you know. And I like catering to them because, you know, in the ecosystem, they give back where we as humans fail and fall short to do that a lot of the times. I'm right in town, on the edge of town. Let's say I'm going out of town and toward the country, but I'm still right here in town. I have a hotel right across the street from me, as you can see in these same pictures. Are you sharing those right now?
I'm trying to get the video showing.
Oh, the video. Well, through this you can see that I'm right on the outskirts of town and right on the highway and across the street from a hotel. I guess you can see it. I don't know.
No, I'm still trying to find the right one.
You know, well, just show any of those right now. But yeah, and then all these little critters come out from the backwoods to be a part of my property here, and I do have woods all right behind me, and I just love that because if I get tired of looking at the city on my front porch, I can walk out back, set up a lawn chair, and look at the woods, and most of the time have critters come and join in with us. Anyway, honey, a lot of people are dropping off, and Yeah, you can see his eyes glowing. You know, he got scared right there, but he comes back around. You know, he comes back around the side of the building and he sits there and he just looks at Austin for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of compelled to want to come up and be a friend of his.
Yeah, he actually walked up towards me for a second.
He walked up toward
and scared
him.
me.
And it kind of scared Austin.
Yeah.
But he was just standing there and he wanted to walk up closer, you could see. And then he kind of, you know, just stood there and was debating as to whether he should come up and friend Austin or not. So that was so sweet. And I went out there and I began talking to Austin, not knowing that this little raccoon fellow was out there, but he did not run away. He stood there and acknowledged both of us for the longest time. Came back out, continued eating right at our feet. And, you know, I started talking to him, and I guess he got a little shy after that. And then he kind of went on his little way, but maybe we'll friend him over time. You know. Anyway, as I send you all off on your day to do your things, I want to wish you the best of luck and the best of love and strength on your journey. Okay, don't forget tomorrow. I'll be looking forward to it. Have everything ready but not served or completely or implicitly prepared, because we'll be doing a lot of that in ritual. And Cindy Lou says, funny, I wonder if that's why I go outside and they come and stay long periods of time. Do you know, raccoons can be one of your most vicious self-protectors out there in the world. But at the same time, they can be one of your most friendliest critters too. And either they're going to love you or they're going to hate you. And it depends on the individual. You know, this one seems to have a friendly side. Like he really don't mind you being there. And, yeah, I do too. Sometimes the woodland creatures joining around. I mean, I have under, I'm sorry. Honey, get rid of that. I have under one acre of property here, but I have over, what, 10 animals living on it?
Oh.
And that's just the ones I know. Let's see. I feel like Snow White here. The chicken farm and the raccoons, how she loves them and all of that. I love raccoons. I've always said that if I were going to have a wild animal turned pet, you know, from birth or whatever, and being able to tame them from the earliest of age, it would be a panther or a raccoon. And I always raised bunnies in my older, long time ago. I mean, I always raised bunny rabbits. I had over 360 something adult rabbits, and each, like 75% of those cages had newborns and still being teat fed, you know, within the cages. Over 75 of the cages had a mess of babies in them. You know, so I loved my rabbits. I don't raise them now, but I always did love them in the past. 360 something rabbits, and we even cut down all the wood that we needed to build the rabbit house. It was good to see you, Patricia. We're all cutting it out now. I loved being at one with you, and I look forward to tomorrow. Bright blessings and merry part to you, and to all of you guys. Bright blessings, merry part, and I'm going to cut the stream now. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Pleasant journeys, everyone.